Hey, everybody. OGG, overt, go green. How's it going? I'm doing good. I hope you are too. I got a deck tech for you today, and we're going to be coming at you with a good one, with a real good one. But first, 3 questions. 1, do you like +1/+1 counters? 2, do you enjoy a nice hot bath? And 3, is your favorite season spring? If you answered yes to all these questions, man, oh man, this deck is for you. I call it Hot Spring Counters. And I'll go over the deck here real quick. Got a few new cards. This deck's idea is to capitalize on putting +1/+1 counters on our guys and then getting huge payoffs from a couple of cards. So it is Gruul. At 1 drop, we got 4 Swarm Shambler, an old Zendikar rare. Enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. Great way to turn on those cards where modified matters. And whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, make an insect token so he kind of replaces himself. He can get bigger if you need him to be. You know, just a cool little fungus beast. Got 2 Willow Geist. I only had 2. I couldn't bring myself to spend rare cards on this guy. But whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on Willow Geist. We're not concerned about that part, really. When a Willow Geist dies, you gain life equal to its power. That's nice. It's a 1/1 trample for 1. I'll talk about how this guy can get so big later on. We have 4 Blizzard Brawl because why not? It's a great piece of removal. We have 4 Flame Discharge. This is a new card from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, Red X, instant. Flame Discharge does X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control a modified creature as you cast the spell, it deals X plus 2 damage. The nice thing is you don't need to control the creature as the spell resolves. So as long as you cast it and you controlled that creature, it's already too late, right? So you can cast this for, like if you have Swarm Shambler out, then this is just red for 2 damage and instant speed. Or it's a mana sink. For red 1, it does 3 damage. For red 2, it does 4. I'm stunned at how relevant this card has been. Just fantastic. Inscription of Abundance, another underrated Zendikar card in my opinion. Green 1, or for green 2, it lets you do all 3 of these. But for green 1, at instant speed, you get a kicker. Put 2 counters on a creature. Gain X life, where X is the greatest power. Or have it fight. So we have a lot of interaction with this deck. Green 1, make a wolf. Whenever you attack, put a counter on target attacking creature. Fantastic. More ways to put counters on. And then the card. Man, oh man. First of all, the art on this card can tell you how fantastic. I don't know why that monkey looks so grumpy living in a hot spring. Man, I'd be jacked. Like that's the whole point of this deck, right? Invigorating Hot Springs, new card from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Green, red, 1, enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, it gets 4 +1/+1 counters. Modified creatures you control have haste. I love how they just hid that line right in the middle. And then you can remove a counter from Invigorating Hot Springs, put it on a target creature you control. You can only do that once a turn. But keep in mind, everything after this card has haste. You might say, well, not everything, OGG. You only get to do it 4 times. Don't worry, the game will be over before then. You got 4 Oran Reef Ooze. Oran Reef Ooze for 3 mana could come down as a 3/3. You might say, that's okay, has a little bit of upside. I don't know about that. Oran Reef Ooze coming in on turn 4. Coming in with a +1/+1 counter on him as a 3/3. Getting a counter from Invigorating Hot Springs makes him a 4/4. And then you swing, and he gets a counter because he has haste from Invigorating Hot Springs. 3 mana for a 5/5 haste. That's about the rate you want to be. That sounds like where you want to be, right? A 1-drop Willow Geist is a 2/2 trample. Swarm Shambler comes down with haste, right? You don't even need to give him a counter. You stack that with Ranger class. If that's gone off, this deck gets nuts fast. And here's a real crazy line. Invigorating Hot Springs into Halana and Alana, the partners. Green, red, 2/3, first strike, reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on a creature, where X is their power. That creature gains haste. Irrelevant, because if you, before combat, put the counter from Hot Springs onto Alana and makes them a 3/4, then they put 3 counters on something else, Willowgeist, and suddenly, because of Hot Springs, now Willowgeist is a 4/4. It can have haste because it has counters on it if you just cast it that turn or something. But suddenly it's a 4/4 trample for 1 that if they kill it, you gain 4 life. Sounds all right. Because once again, another good on-rate card, right? 2 Arlen. Arlen can put counters on creatures. I like the actual +1 comes up decent. Sometimes. Creating 2/2 green wolf creatures is great. Another great ability. And the counters are nice. And if it ever becomes a 5/5 werewolf creature with trample, indestructible, and haste, that's just all gravy. And you can't be playing a +1/+1 counters deck without the Praetor himself, Vornklex, the monstrous raider. Trample, haste, 6/6. You got a Hot Springs in play. This guy comes down, he's an 8/8 trample haste. Because he's going to double the counters you get put on him. You can suddenly Arlen on the daytime side. Also does the same thing with her +1/+1. You can easily get this guy out of control. Helana, God forbid, Helana's out and puts counters on him. At minimum, he's going to be a 10/10 trample haste. And the deck just really goes off. It really just is an exponential growth of +1/+1 counters. Land-wise, I got 6 snow-covered mountains, 11 snow-covered forest, 4 pathways, 3 rockfall vale. I found with 4, for whatever reason, I was drawing these all the time, and I just couldn't get around it. But that's the whole deck. It really centers around invigorating Hot Springs, putting those counters on people, and giving them haste. But all the cards kind of synergize off each other. I've had a ton of fun with this deck, playing cards that I've had just chilling. Swarm Shambler, Oran Reef Ooze, these 2 Willowgeists that I never got to use. Just a totally over-the-top fun deck. It's just absolutely smashing whenever I've played it. The gameplay will be coming out in a couple days here. But in the meantime, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, leave them down below. And if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And this is OGG out.